Since 1992, drivers and their teams have travelled from around the world to the island state of Tasmania. Here, they would take on 5 days of tarmac racing in the ultimate race of man and machine against every road and weather condition the state could throw at them. There's been race stars, movie stars, and famous Australians. Thousands of drivers have tried, but only a special few have conquered. This time, in its 21st year, over 220 teams will tackle the longest and toughest in the race's history. So, who will conquer TARGA Tasmania, the ultimate tarmac rally? In April of 2012, 220 racing teams gathered in Launceston, Tasmania for TARGA Tasmania, the finale of the CAMS Australia TARGA Championship. For the first time in the event's history, it will include more than 600 kilometres of competitive racing. And in 2012, see the most significant changes to the course, with only 40% of the course remaining the same as 2011.
Well, it's the 21st edition classic. For TARGA Tasmania is obviously, the tradition, and some would say the real integral heritage of the event is in the classic car field, making it 100 competitive Ks longer than it was last year, which was 80 competitive Ks, longer than it had ever been before that. It's going to be an incredible journey and test for everybody in classic. Just to get to the finish will be a major achievement, and lots of surprises will come from classic in the 21st TARGA Tasmania.
The 2012 course takes place over 6 days. Day 0 sees a new warm-up stage in Lilydale before the traditional prologue in Georgetown. Day 1 sees a reversed loop from Deloraine to Sheffield, Paluna, Moriarty and back through the Tamar Valley. Day 2 takes in the East Coast with a reverse loop from Rossarden, Elephant Pass, St Helens through the northeastern passes, with the tough sidling stage late in the day finishing in the traditional Longford. Day 3 sees the long run to Strawn from Launceston via Devonport, taking in the tough Sathana, Castra, Hellier Gorge and a new stage at the Plimsoll Dam. Day 4 sees a long run from Strawn to Ulverston and return, taking in the new stages of Reese Dam and Pyman. Then Mount Rowland, the tough Rihanna and Mount Black and Rosebery. Day 5 sees the traditional stages of Strawn, Queenstown, the long Mount Arrowsmith and Tarraleah, with lunch in Bothwell. With the sting in the tail, the new Woodsdale stage, with the cars finishing a rest point in Hobart. All up, 6 days and over 600 competitive kilometres.
Driving late classic car 577. It's a beautiful car to drive. It's really well balanced, probably the most successful tarmac rally car in Australia. Last 5 years are the only 5 years that the Classic Outright Championship has been in existence, and that wooed us back. Up until then we'd been driving more modern cars, but that seemed to be a real challenge. So we came back and we've been fortunate enough to win all of them so far. Part of the secret of the car's success is fairly lightweight, and to do that we've got the plastic windows and we've taken out the wind-up mechanism to save weight. It's not a stressed motor car. The power output is quite modest, about 320 horsepower. And I think I'm a fairly gentle driver. I don't thrash it. And it just keeps going. I mean, this year I washed it, I put some Dunlops on it, put new brake fluid in it, and I'm here. I keep coming back because the challenge is just new every year. Past history means nothing in this event. The conditions are always different. Every year is a challenge, and this year in particular, in that nearly 60% of the course is new. I regard it as probably the best tarmac rally in the world, certainly in Australia, probably the world, and to do well here is the real pinnacle of the sport.
The drivers gather at Country Club Tasmania for the official start of TARGA Tasmania on what is day 0 of the event.
3, 2, 1, go!
Well, prologue again was changed a little bit. I mean, the great tradition that is Georgetown, you know, they love the event, and at the moment, you know, with the economy not being that great, it was fantastic to sort of lift the people's spirits of Georgetown and everyone in those surrounding areas. But competitors for a long time have said it's not a great warm-up for them because there's only 2 street stages in the event, and there's 38 road stages. So, you know, we looked for an opportunity to bring in a road stage, and we did that with Lilydale.
We did some good recce of Lilydale stage, and I think we're pretty quick on that. So very smooth. I feel really good. I've started to wake up early this year.
John Seddon's extremely fast in the wet and in the dry, as probably seen by the times here today. John will be probably the favourite to win this. Yeah, hopefully we're there with him.
Built a new gearbox, new 5-speeds gone in, and just settling that in this morning. Suspension's set up for TARGA now, and we're looking forward to a great event here in Tasmania.
We're pushing it uphill with some of the older competitors who just have that much more experience on us, but all our moving parts are working well, so we should give them a good run, all the old boys.
My name is Melinda Bergman.
And I'm Alice McKenzie.
And we're driving the Zero car for Mazda Australia in the TARGA Tasmania 2012. We've got a brand new Mazda CX-5. It's a diesel 2.2 litre engine, and it's beautiful and comfortable, and we're really looking forward to the rest of the event in that car.
It is the brand new SkyActiv technology, so it's a brand new engine they've put into the car.
The Zero car has a very important role for TARGA Tasmania. We have 2 primary objectives, and the first is that we warn all the people on the side of the road, the stages, that the competitive field is coming through. And the second role that we have is about safety. So we're making sure that the stage is completely safe for the competitors to have a good, hard go at. It's actually a lot of fun. The pressure is completely off us, and we're just here to experience the beautiful Tasmanian roads, but also obviously fulfilling our safety duties. It's a lot of fun.
The next time you see the car, you can know that it is a very serious role, and we do take it very seriously. And we also love getting to drive around the all-new Mazda CX-5.
It's day 1, And racing begins in earnest as the teams head to Sheffield on stages this year run in reverse and prove to be a challenge. A favourite is the #1 flag car. For 2012, the honour goes to Targa veteran Bill Griffiths.
Well, it's a 1936 Roach Talbot. It's one of the last built by the factory before the Roots brothers took it over. And so it's a very rare car. It's one of about 20 or 30 only in the world. And it's great fun.
Day one would see the demise of two dominant early classic racers, Paul and Mike Batten's Volvo blowing an engine, and Paul and Christine Freestone's FX Holden with engine management problems.
Unfortunately, it stopped a couple of times after the lunch break on the way to Nook, and we ended up having to trailer the car back to Launceston.
Yeah, well, again, business as usual. Rex Broadbent, I mean, God doesn't get enough credit for me. I mean, you know, he's 5 in a row. We've only had the outright competition for 5 years. He's won it every year, going for 6 in a row. There's a few there that can push him along, but if it gets wet, you know, Rex is going to be very hard to beat.
Merge, 7 right.
The car feels good. We're pretty happy with the way things are going. So, no, so far, so good. We've got the last 5 days. That's the important thing.
Haven't got really any plan. Just cruise from day to day and make sure we're there at the end.
Oh, you know, like it'd be good to sort of finish in the top sort of 3 or 4 or 5 cars at the event here. But I think if we can sort of stick with the pace we're running and not have any problems, don't drop any stages and that, I think we'll be somewhere near there anyway.
Wet weather greets the teams as they start day 2.
Well, day 2 is probably the major change for them. Whilst the other days are a big change, it's definitely the one that shocked everybody when we rolled it out. It's never been run in what is the reverse direction. Out through Ross Arden early in the day rather than the end of the day. Elephant Pass, down Elephant Pass rather than up it, and then across all the pass roads. You know, Wellborough, Winalea, and then finishing with one of the most iconic pieces of road, not just for this event. I mean, the cycling is known all over the world, so it's a great touring road, and to come back over the opposite direction, it will be very, very exciting for everybody.
Day 2 would come to an end on the Elephant Pass for the team of Peter and Ian Wynn in their 1973 Ford Mustang Mach 1.
So sorry, Dad. Just hit the brakes, nothing extraordinary, but the back locked up and swung out. The nose caught the bank on the inside of the corner, and we rolled with the nose going over the bank, slid on our roof for a while, pitched over, ended up on our feet, but in a pretty sorry state.
Sidling with Shaka. We lost time hand over fist through there. It just really hard. Couldn't see. Too slippery. Doesn't suit this car. Plus, we just don't have the experience in the wet to go any quicker. Otherwise, we're going to end up in the bush.
and crest.
Rex Broadbent and Chris Randall continued to, lead the field, which is not surprising given they've won the last 5 classic outrights. Siddons and Ferguson were really making them earn it for the first time, probably ever in the outright competition. But they just started to creep away during day 2 and got back home leading.
Caution 2 right. Have a slight visibility problem, mate, sorry. Into 7 left.
Day 3 is a massive change because we're actually going to Strawn rather than looping back to Launceston as we have probably in the last 4 or 5 years. So, day 3 becomes what day 4 used to be. So the hard stages come a day early.
Yeah, a bit greasy out there. I just thought I'd take it easy this morning. It was a bit of inconsistent road, so better to be here than not.
The Castra stage would prove challenging for the team of Car 541.
Yeah, the Castra spin, I think we came into it red hot, but yeah, it spun us around. I was worried about halfway through the spin. I was kind of like, oh, okay, panel damage, here we go. And it seemed like we stopped just in front.
So in Classic, again, day 3 played its role of breaking the game wide open in that competition. Also, Rex, fantastic drive on the longer stages. He just maintains pace the whole time, never drops off, never has a bad stage on the long stages. Everybody by that night was saying, well, the only way Rex will lose this event is if he has a mechanical problem.
We're very, very happy with the 3-minute lead. We didn't know it was that much, but like we were able to do last year, we're going to go into conservation mode now. Just keep it on the road, keep the brakes and tyres and not make a mistake.
So after 3 tough days of competitive racing, Rex Broadbent leads the Shannon's Classic outright by 3 minutes over John Siddons with Don Todd in third. John Siddons leads the Shannon's Early Classic Handicap from Andrew White, with Rex Broadbent leading Shannon's Late Classic Handicap by 3 minutes from Ian Morris's Alfa Romeo GT V6.
We've got a bit of a tour on day 4 to get to the Reese Dam stage. We're running away from the coast. When we did bring that stage in a few years ago, it was running towards the west coast, had a lot of issues with late setting sun. So we're using Reese Dam. It's very fast. It's a road that's not used very often, so it is a warm-up stage, quite easy to clean. So it won't have a big bearing on the event, but still just a fantastic piece of road to drive on. So Classic and day 4, saw the demise of Sam Todd and Dean Tye in the Piranha. They've been in the championship, been at the front every round. They had some dramas at Targa Rest Point. Unbelievably got back to third there to keep the championship hopes alive. A fuel problem, just brought the car to a grinding halt. Totally shattered the guys as it threw the whole championship wide open for them and potentially ruined any chance they had of winning the Cam Australian Targa Championship. So they were, that was the big news story of day 4 and Classic, was definitely the Piranha coming to a grinding halt.
Oh, well, the day didn't start too bad for the first one, but then when we went to Mount Rowland, we had a fuel pump failure. And then Sheffield, we started, it went about 400 metres and stopped, and that was where we spent majority of the day until we rectified the problem, put another pump in and got it going.
Into Ollaston for lunch again in the main street has become an iconic lunch break for us now. Different to all the other lunch breaks where all the traders get involved and the competitors can go to any of the local shops and get what they like to eat rather than what we serve up, and then back down to Strawn in the afternoon for a second night in Strawn. It should be fantastic.
We're going to take it very, very easy. So we don't really care about the places in the event here. It's more important for us to get home in one piece. Yeah. So we won't be taking any risks at all.
Definitely, I think the first one after lunch is the one that we've got to start sort of switching on with, because I've noticed that our times start to ease back after we've eaten and we start to hit that sort of 3 o'clock itis. So Yeah, see if we can turn it on.
And turn it on they did. Trouble on the Rihanna stage for Team Legacy.
The notes we've got aren't as good today as they have been on previous days. So we're just kind of cruising along. We think we're going at about the same pace that John Siddons is going. He's our main opposition, and I think we're within 3 minutes of a lead, 3 minutes lead. So I'm happy.
We're still weak, like we're punting, but we're not going too hard. Like we won't catch Rex, and Rebo shouldn't catch us, but we'll just cruise and be safe.
So day 4 for Classic ended in, big drama. Rex Broadbent and Chris Randall, incredibly reliable car. I mean, it's not only is it fast, they never have any dramas with that car. Saturday night, as it turned out, a wire loose to the alternator meant they were losing power. They thought it was the alternator. They went to change that, realised it wasn't the alternator. A lot of wires in a car, even in an old car. It took them about 4 or 5 hours to find this one black wire that actually went from the alternator into a plug. So they brought the plug, pulled the plug back, soldered it back on, and all was good. But for 4 or 5 hours, it really did look like Rex Broadbent's run in Classic of 5 straight wins going for number 6 was all over.
We noticed the instruments were playing up. The rev counter was just fluctuating. And as we got closer to Tulla, we realised that the alternator wasn't charging and the battery was going flat. So we filled up with fuel in Tulla, the car wouldn't start. So we bought a battery, the only battery the guy at the service station had. We bolted that into the car, held it in with a tie strap, and did the last 2 stages.
All right, we still have problems. The tacho's all over the place. So this has solved part of it, but not all of it.
But they got the car back and going by midnight that night. Rex didn't get a lot of sleep. Incredibly works on his own car. Still had his race suit on at midnight. What an amazing effort. And again, a credit to Rex and Chris that they work on their own car, which is a very unusual situation for a front-running car these days.
So with 1 day to go, Rex Broadbent and Chris Randall lead the Shannon's Classic outright competition by 2 minutes and 35 seconds over John Siddons and Darren Ferguson's Datsun 240Z, and John Ireland and Michael Rebo in 3rd, with the big movers being Team Legacy now in 4th position. John Siddons leads the Shannon's Early Classic Handicap over Andrew White's Volvo and Colin Burns' Alpha GTV 1000. And in the Shannon's Late Classic Handicap, Rex Broadbent leads over Ian Morris's Alpha and John Ireland's 1977 Porsche 911.
Day 5 takes on a slightly different appearance again. Arrowsmith, I suppose because it's the longest, always seen as probably the finish of the event, as the leading guys have said. Wherever you are at the end of Arrowsmith, traditionally has been probably where you'd finish. You could only go backwards from there, and probably not forwards. But the introduction of Woodsdale into that day brings another stage, closer to Hobart. Still not in Hobart itself, but Woodsdale's never been used. Totally brand new stage, and she's one for the brave, mate. It's, everybody who's had a look at that stage is saying, wow, she's one for the brave, where the ones that are willing to take a little bit of risk and make up a lot of time because everyone's quite spooked by it, a bit like they were with Ross Arden when we first brought that into the event. And it is all about, we want people and the competitors to feel that moment in their lives, because that's really what they're paying for, to have those moments. So Woodsdale will bring a lot to the event, I think, and will be won and lost on there rather than Arrowsmith. If it's still close going into there, I think it will be won there. And then obviously finishing with Grass Tree Hill, which is a fantastic run in Hobart and a great opportunity for people in the south to see the event before heading to Rest Point.
It actually performed well, all things considered. And Arrowsmith, if this is 40 short races, we did the Le Mans in Arrowsmith. It's a long haul.
It's been terrific. It's been a really good event, despite the fact that it's a longer event. You get this feeling of satisfaction.
Strawn this morning, that was a hoot. We really got into it a bit there and just wait and see what happened. And we went to get fuel this morning and the guy didn't put the fuel cap on properly, so we went up the fuel all in the car like fumes. So I think that mate's go actually faster.
Just when you thought Rex and Chris had the event stitched up again, had a very handy lead, out strong, got their electrical problems sorted, back out on the course. A moment of madness in that car. You know, Rex, so consistent over the years. I can't think of a time where he's ever off the road. Has a lapse in concentration for 1 second, which just is all you need in this sort of stuff, and found himself spinning on Tararua.
And we had a little off. Went off the road, got momentarily bogged in the side on a two left. Chris, quick thinking, jumped out, pushed me backwards, got it forwards again, and I think we lost about 40 seconds to the opposition, but we're here to fight another day.
And found himself spinning on Tararua, almost all come to grief. Fortunately for them, they got the car back around and off they went, and cruised home to victory in Hobart. You know, one of the great stories that's come out of Classic over the last 12 months is the boys in the Legacy, Datsun 240Z. They help the cause every step of the way, raising money for Legacy. They've been a great attribute for the event, shows what the event can deliver for a whole range of charities, Legacy being their preferred charity. They were 44th in TARGA Tasmania last year. It was their first event, was a real eye-opener for them. They've come to every event since. They learn a little bit more each time. They've made the car a little bit better, and wow, bang, they're fourth. 44th to 4th in just 12 months. I've been with TARGA Tasmania for a long time. I don't think I've ever seen that level of improvement in just 12 months. Incredible effort by those guys.
We were hoping top 10, I think, was sort of the thing, but as long as we're consistent with the way we perform, we're obviously pretty egotistical dudes. We've got inflated opinions about ourselves, so did we expect? Yeah, probably.
Well, Classic ended up being a record-breaking year. Rex Broadbent winning his 6th straight win. We've only had outright for 6 years. He's won every one of them. He's the only man to win outright, so it was a fantastic effort by him and Chris Randall.
Every one of these is difficult. I was hoping we would do well, but didn't come in with the expectation of winning. Without doubt, the most difficult Targa that I've ever been in. Just the concentration levels. And my car normally is 100% reliable. We've basically repaired it every night.
He's the only man to win outright, so it was a fantastic effort by him and Chris Randall. The highlight, I suppose, the John Siddons and Darren Ferguson in the 240Z, car built for Classic handicap competition.
Yeah, unbelievable. I can't believe we've done so well. It's been an awesome event.
And John Ireland and Michael Rabot crashed out in TARGA Tasmania last year, always at the front somewhere, always on the podium, and another strong third place from those guys.
In the Shannon's early Classic handicap, John Siddons won by just 1 second over Andrew White's Volvo, with Peter Ulrich's Jensen in third. In the Shannon's late Classic handicap, Rex Broadbent won over Ian Morris's Alpha, with John Ireland's Porsche in third. The results were considerably different for the CAMS Australian Targa Championship.
With Classic event, Don Todd and Dean Tye, a little bit by virtue of running all 4 rounds, but they committed to the championship. They were there to win the championship. They were at the front most of the time. They had some dramas in TARGA Tasmania, but what an unbelievable car. It was great to see something other than a Porsche win a championship when it comes to classic cars. So it was a fantastic effort by the guys, and I'm sure they'll be there defending the championship next year.